Your super fund might be about to merge, your product might be about to close. If it happens, which is increasingly common under APRA's consolidation push, your balance won't disappear. But your fees might go up, your investment strategy might change, and the insurance that's been protecting you for years might quietly be replaced with cover that doesn't work the same way. Stay until the 8-minute mark. I'll tell you how to find out if your fund is in APRA's firing line and 3 moves to protect yourself if it is. APRA has been running what its own deputy chair called a muscular approach to super fund consolidation since 2022. The logic is straightforward. Australia's super system has too many funds and too many products. Small funds, those with assets under $10 billion, face structural challenges, declining member numbers, shrinking net cash flows, and the fixed costs of administration, technology, and compliance eating into returns. About half of small funds face sustainability questions. APRA's view is that members in weak, small, or underperforming funds will be better off in larger, better-run funds. And it has the tools to make that happen. The primary mechanism is the performance test. Products that fail the annual benchmark test 2 years in a row must close to new members the day after notification. At that point, the trustee either remedies the underperformance, which is difficult for a product already struggling, or exits the product and transfers members to something better. In 2024, 37 platform products failed the test, 27 of them for the second consecutive time. Most of those were concentrated in a small number of trusts, products associated with NM Super and IOOF related structures. They were required to close to new members. Many existing members were transferred. And the second mechanism is the Successor Fund Transfer, an SFT. Under super law, a trustee can transfer all members and assets to another fund without individual consent, provided the trustee reasonably believes members will be in an equivalent or better position. The word reasonably is doing a lot of work in that sentence. A PRA guidance under SPG 227 sets expectations for how trustees plan and execute these transfers. A SFA, the industry peak body, acknowledges in its own papers that for many small or weak funds, an SFT is the only feasible method of winding up. Here's why this matters for you, even if you're not in an obviously failing fund. When your balance moves via an SFT, the thing most people focus on, the dollar amount, arrives intact. What they don't track carefully enough is the insurance. Super funds typically provide life insurance, total and permanent disability cover, and sometimes income protection as part of your membership. When a product or fund is wound up and members are transferred, the insurance arrangement is renegotiated or replaced. The new policy may have different benefit definitions, different exclusions, different waiting periods, or a different cost structure. You might arrive at the new fund with a lower sum insured. You might find that the definition of disability in your new cover is stricter, meaning a condition that would have triggered a claim under your old policy might not trigger one under the new arrangement. You might not discover any of this until you need to make a claim, which is precisely the worst time to find out. The transfer documents you receive, the product disclosure statement, the insurance information booklet, the comparison documents contain this information. Most members don't read them or read them once and don't understand the differences. A PRA and AFCA both emphasise that trustees must communicate clearly about what's changing. In practice, the quality of that communication varies significantly. Operational disruption is the second category of risk, and it's underrated. Mergers and product wind-ups come with system migrations, new online portals, new contact numbers, and new administration processes. In the period immediately after a transfer, you may experience delays in receiving contributions, delays in rollover processing, delays in pension payments, or errors in the transfer of data. These are usually temporary, but if you're not watching for them, they can go uncorrected for months. KPMG's 2026 Super Insights report notes that super assets have grown beyond $4.5 trillion and are increasingly concentrated in the largest APRA-regulated funds, with the top 24 funds holding the majority of assets and member accounts. The consolidation push is accelerating. The number of fund mergers and SFTs happening in any given year is higher than it's ever been. If you're in a small or mid-sized fund, particularly one that's been quiet for a few years, hasn't grown its member base, and hasn't appeared on any top performers list recently, it's worth checking whether it's under APRA pressure. Let me be precise about what you're protecting against and what you're not. Your super balance is legally protected. The trustee has a fiduciary duty to act in your best financial interests. If an SFT goes ahead and your balance arrives at a new fund short, or if your insurance changes significantly without disclosure, those are legal breaches that AFCA and APRA can pursue. The money isn't at risk of disappearing. What's at risk is a suboptimal outcome you didn't choose. You could end up in a default investment option in a new fund that doesn't reflect your risk profile. You could lose an insurance feature that was important to your specific situation. You could miss the window during which you could have rolled over to a better fund of your own choosing and instead ended up in whatever the trustee selected as the default successor. And the difference between a forced transfer landing you in a great outcome and landing you in a mediocre one is almost entirely determined by whether you engaged with the process before it completed. 3 moves to take right now. Move 1. Find out whether your fund or product is in APRA's firing line. Step 1. Identify your exact fund and product name from your latest statement. Step 2. Check APRA's 2025 performance test results for My Super and trustee directed products. If your product has failed, especially in 2 consecutive years, it's under formal pressure. Step 3. Search your fund's website or news for any Successor Fund Transfer, merger, or product closure announcements. If you see one, the clock on your decision window has started. Move 2. If your fund is merging or your product has failed, compare before you accept the default. Don't just drift into whatever the trustee has selected as the successor fund. Compare the proposed successor's fees and long-term returns against alternatives using the ATO's Your Super tool and APRA's performance data. Consider whether you'd be better off initiating your own rollover to a fund you've chosen rather than accepting the default. In many cases you can, but you need to act before the SFT date. Move 3. Protect your insurance and administration details during any transfer. Before the transfer takes effect, download and save your current insurance cover details, types of cover, sums insured, definitions, benefit conditions. Save your beneficiary nominations. After the transfer, log into the new fund immediately and confirm that your beneficiary nominations have been carried over, your insurance cover is active, and your investment option is what you intended. If there's a discrepancy, report it to the fund in writing and follow up with AFCA if it's not resolved. This is general information, not personal advice. Your super situation depends on your fund, product, age, insurance needs, and retirement timeline. A licensed financial advisor can review your fund's current situation and guide you through any transfer process. If you want to understand how APRA's annual performance test actually works and how to check whether your current fund is one of the ones that has been flagged, subscribe. New video every week. There's a plain English version of the 3-move protection checklist in the newsletter, link in the description. This is the fine print AU, because someone has to read it.